Hello, if it's your first time here, my name is Dan, or JK. I've been an indie publisher since 2011, and what I try to do here on my channel is give data-driven information about what I've done in the past and what I'm going to do in the future. Now, one other benefit, actually, in writing a duology is you can end book one on a cliffhanger. And I can hear the alarm bells going off and people shouting, "No, never end a book on a cliffhanger." Well, I hate to tell you, but on a 2-book series, you should end that first book on a cliffhanger. And that I attribute that for the reason that my 2-book series has sold just as much as my 4-book series, earnings-wise. My first book series, Altdorf, ends on a real cliffhanger. The main character is wounded, maybe dying, we don't even know, and fade to black. The book ends. And yeah, sure, it got some bad reviews at the beginning, a few people, but we have to remember that bad reviews, or all reviews, are the voices of the minority. And what I was interested in is making sure that whoever picked up book one read book two. And by the time that I had actually decided to make it a duology, I already had in the back of my mind that at some point in time I was going to offer book one at a low price or free, with the hope that they would read book two at full price, because I was an unknown author and there are very few marketing opportunities available to us. So free is one of the best ones that I have found in my experience. Now, the cliffhanger, you'll hear people say, never end a book on cliffhanger. Every book should be a complete story in and of itself. I disagree. I disagree completely. There are times and places for cliffhangers, and one of the best places for a cliffhanger is at the end of book one of a duology. It's a surefire way to make people buy book two. And you might have to endure a few bad reviews, but overall, if you get that book two out quick enough and it's satisfying, the 2 books are a complete story, then your good reviews are going to far outweigh your bad reviews. That's my experience, and that's why right now I'm working on a duology. I could be writing a book for either one of these series. Both of them at this point in time, because they've sold well enough, I would be comfortable in writing another book in either one of these series. However, I'm interested in getting new readers. And the only surefire way to get new readers is to start a new series, a new book, something that you can actually promote to new groups of people. If I were to write book 3 or book 5 of an existing series, I'm only targeting my small group of readers that I have now. And in this business, you have to be constantly gathering in new readers from all over. One of the best things that you can find in your reviews is when someone says, I've just discovered this author. This is my new favorite author. And if you've been writing for a number of years, that is one of the best feelings. When someone newly discovers you, that means that you're getting out there into new pockets of people, or people have recommended your books to someone. And I don't believe that there's any such thing as saturating a market. There's so many readers out there, even in my genres of historical fiction, urban fantasy, all of that. There's so many readers out there that I could live to be 1,000 years old, and there'd still be tons of people that had never heard of Dan Redwater or J.K. Swift. In fact, probably a lot of you watching right now have never heard of Bernard Cornwell. Some of you will have, but you know, he's the biggest name in historical fiction in the kinds of books that I write. So there's always new readers coming along, and you have to target new readers. You have to keep pulling people into your fold. So with that in mind, that is why I'm currently working on a new duology. 2-book series. I have no intention of it going longer than that. So back to the now. What if you're a more experienced author and you've got a couple of books under your belt, and you kind of, you know, ironed out the kinks, and you think that you're capable of producing something satisfying to a reader and satisfying to yourself, and you have an idea for a series. I'm not saying absolutely don't write a series, but what I'm saying is write a series where that book one could be a complete story in itself and be finished. So that is kind of what I suggest for really everybody, a new reader or an experienced, or I'm sorry, a new writer or an experienced writer. Write a book one that could just be a book one, and that's all. It's never going to be a series. It could end, or you could, maybe in the back of your mind, you have an idea to develop it into a series if it's really explodes in popularity. Now, if only I had done that, and I could pull that up as an example. And hey, wait a minute, I think I have. So I wrote under Dan Redwater, I wrote a book that I had actually been working on and off for over 20 years. And crazy things. It was like, it wasn't the first novel I had written, but it was, it took me a lot to finish it and finally scrape it into something that I was happy with. And I published that. I had full intentions of, when I published it, I had full intentions of it being a series. However, because I have these numbers at hand, I know that if it doesn't sell as a single book, then book 2 is not going to sell to make my time worthwhile. So I gave it a satisfying ending. Yeah, it could. I've got a whole world kind of planned that I could go into, but that's not going to happen unless that book takes off. And I'm sorry to say that I just don't think it's going to happen. This book has been for sale for a couple of 2 or 3 years now, and yeah, sales are pretty disappointing to non-existence. Hard to get it out there. You know, these things happen, and it is what it is. If you have an overconfidence problem, I suggest becoming an author. That'll fix it real quick. So anyways, that book is now a standalone book and not part of a series. So I'm kind of sad because I had some good ideas for the series, but I'm not going to pursue something that is going to just suck time away from some of my more lucrative projects. My days are numbered, I'm afraid to say, and I have to pick my projects carefully. Keep writing. Talk to you soon.